Well, here we are. We're talking about Truth BBQ today, and it's at the center of my food wall in my kitchen. Yes, I have a food wall in my kitchen, I know. But we're talking about Truth BBQ today because it is the best food I've had in my entire life. I have this food wall of all this legendary food I've eaten, but Truth is at the center because it's number one. It's at the top spot now. That can certainly change, but it hasn't changed in a while, and I don't expect it to change anytime soon. I hope it does, because that would mean some life-changing things for me because of just how delicious Truth is. But you can see I have the Truth BBQ hat on, got the Truth BBQ shirt on, and we're just going to talk about how delicious Truth BBQ is, and just really the journey that you need to go on in order to get it. It's so worth it. So you're going to show up, and there's going to be a line. And that's okay. You can see here in my video, this is the line I waited in. It looks like an amusement park. I'm not denying that in any way. It definitely does. And honestly, rightfully so. I showed up 20 minutes before they opened, and I waited 2 hours to get my food. I have no regrets. I would wait longer. I'd wait for days, and you should do the same because it is that good. When you're sitting there in line, you just smell the meat, and it does not get old. The whole 2 hours, I was sitting there like smelling it up, sniffing it in, breathing in the barbecue air, just loving it, just knowing how good this is gonna be, how much in heaven I will be in a few hours, I guess. After I smelled it. And so I'm sitting in line, for 2 hours. So I end up like shooting the shit with the people in front of me. They're these two brothers, and they have one of their brothers has a wife that's with them. And so we're sitting there talking, and they're from Milwaukee and telling me about all the sausages and cheese I need to get there, and they're absolutely great. And they're these two brothers who they're about like 5'6", like 200, 220, something like that. So these guys have enjoyed their sausage and cheese, and I am so here for it. They gave me all these recommendations. I added it all in. It was great. But so, these guys are pretty big. They're used to eating a lot of food. And when we started making our way up to the register after 2 hours, we've all been waiting a while. We're ready to talk about our food. I tell them what I'm ordering. The two brothers look at each other. They're like, the three of us are ordering less food than this one guy. Like, this one kid is eating more food than us. We need to order more food. We can't let him eat more food than us. And I'm like, hey guys, definitely don't worry about that. Like, I just eat a shitload. Like, do not try to compete with me or anything like that. It could be bad. And they're like, no. Don't worry. We just can't have this. We'll eat. Don't worry. I'm like, okay, all right. If you say so, whatever, you do you. So I have this thing when I go to any barbecue joint for the first time, I get 6 pounds of all the meat. I'm just trying all the meat. So I get 6 pounds total of every meat they have to figure out what's the best. So I get my plate of meat, and I see them, and they invite me to sit down with them. I'm like, oh, awesome, great, thanks, guys. So I come up and sit down, and what I do is I try every meat right away. As soon as it's hot, right when I get down, I try everything, figure out which one's the best, and then devour it. And so when you're at Truth, or at any of these absolutely legendary spots, but at Truth specifically, when you try the ribs, you'll have one bite. It will melt in your mouth. It will be so juicy, so tender, and just like perfect amount of seasoning. Lets you taste all the meat, and just perfect. It just falls apart in your mouth right off the bone. But you're going to want to get up and jump around because that's how good it is. You're going to want to do a lap around the building. You're going to want to scream and freak out because it is that good, and you probably should. You have every right to. I also freaked out, and I don't regret. I don't regret freaking out at all. It was delicious. And so, I try everything, and I warned them ahead of time. I was like, hey guys, when I eat ribs that are really good, I will get barbecue sauce all over my face, my hands, my shirt, my pants, my shorts, whatever. I'll get barbecue sauce everywhere. They're like, don't worry, you need to. It's great barbecue. That's the way to do it. And I was like, 100% agree. In my opinion, if you're eating amazing barbecue, you need to get it all over your face and hands, feet, shorts, wherever. The barbecue sauce should be covering you. You should have scraps of meat in your beard, on your shirt, whatever. You should be covered in meat and sauce is my opinion when you're eating good barbecue. So either you're eating it wrong if you're not doing that, or the barbecue isn't really that good. So if you don't meet either of those two criteria, that's your only excuse to not be covered in barbecue sauce, in my opinion, when you're eating ribs. So I let them know about this ahead of time, that they were cool with it. And so I tried everything, realized the ribs are the best. So I go on my devouring spree of ribs. So I don't notice this because I'm eating a full rack of ribs and I'm in heaven right now. It's the best rack of ribs I've ever had. So I realize after I'm done, the brother sitting across from me just jawed on the floor the entire time I've been eating. It didn't register until that point. And I was like, oh, hey, what's good? And he was like, this is the one who lives in Houston. He said, I never seen anyone put a whole rib in the mouth and rip it out with no meat left. He said, you devoured those ribs quicker than anyone I've ever seen. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of do that sometimes. He was like, I just had to do it. It was really good. And he was like, no, don't apologize. That's amazing. And the brother and the sister and the wife are looking at me with I got sauce all over me. And I'm like, sorry guys, I warned you, I'm kind of an animal when I eat ribs and really good barbecue. And they're like, no, it's okay, man, but we weren't expecting this. Because I'm looking like a mess, I'm an animal in every way. So I finished the ribs, and now I'm on to brisket and pulled pork and sausages and all the rest. And I'm still in heaven. I'm still flying high, loving every minute of it. It's delicious, but clean myself up a little bit because, the ribs are the grossest part. And I tried some of their sides, delicious sides, great. I mean, the brisket is, the second best brisket I've had in my life behind corkscrew, which we'll get to in a later video. But, I mean, everything is good here. The best sausages I've had in my life. They have 3 flavors. They had 3 different flavors of sausages when I went. All 3 flavors were top 3 sausages for me and still are. They're that good. So you got to come. You got to go to Truth BBQ and just enjoy the ribs. If you want to be able to dodge some of the line, definitely get as close as you can to the opening. And then also you can order ahead, call ahead and pick up. So you could do that if you're trying to, if you're short on time and trying to dodge a line, or, if you're lucky, going to try a bunch of food places in Houston and you need to make it quick. I would say that is the best way to ensure you can get in and out of Truth the fastest. But my opinion, waiting for the line is part of it. I enjoy that. It just, gets me excited, gets me pumped up for a really good meal. But, if that's not your style, you can totally try to avoid it with what I said. But, yeah, this is number 1 for a reason. Truth BBQ, honestly, is a big reason why I made this YouTube. I made a TikTok. I made this sites because I had this food and it just demolished the rest of the rankings. It's in a tier of its own with how good it is. There are some things close, and they're all barbecue in Houston. But Truth is by itself. It's like the holy grail of food. It's like the motherland every time you come. It's fantastic. And I understand I sound like an ad for Truth BBQ, and I've heard that before. And then everyone I've convinced to go has only been upset that I didn't convince them sooner. And I'm just sitting here trying my best. I told them they should go as soon as possible, and they just didn't listen. But yeah, and I hope you can listen. I hope you can go to Truth and just enjoy all the meat there, because it's so good. There are obviously other great places in Houston I have on the list. Very high ranking. Houston is the best food city I've been to, so be prepared for just delicious food the whole time. But I'm going to be making rankings, making videos, keep it rolling, of course. But expect some videos coming out of other of these really high ranking top 10 joints coming out this week, because I really want to talk to you about the best food I've had, because that's what this is all about. It's about eating just really jaw-dropping food, because that's the most important thing, right? That's what else do you need? What else do you need? So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you can go and get Truth BBQ as soon as possible. And, let me know what you think. And just grub out. Just enjoy.